Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is Vishwanath, your sports mental conditioning coach and counselor. I welcome you all to the Winning Edge talk show. Once upon a time, the lesser gods and goddesses were upset with the progress a man was making in all areas of life, especially in the area of science. Now, they thought that if man continues in this fashion, one day they'll be left powerless. So they approached the higher God, the Creator, and complained to him, Dear God, um, what can you do? Man is progressing too fast, and at this rate, we will have no value, and he will become all powerful and dethrone all of us. You have to do something. The Creator was perplexed. He gave it a nice thought and then replied to them, Don't worry, gods and goddesses. Um, I'll do something about this. Okay, I will put all the man's intelligence and his creative ability in one place where he will find it very difficult to find. Only those who seek know the art or know the secret of accessing this sacred place will get access to their creative talents and scientific ability. So the lesser gods and goddesses, satisfied, they left the Creator and went away. Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to know where the Creator put all the man's talents and intelligence? He put it in a place inside his own brain, inside the brain of the human being. And that place is known as the subconscious mind. Okay, now today, continuing with my webinar, I will now today be speaking about the powers of subconscious mind in sports. Since this topic is very vast and complex, I won't do justice if I try to complete the whole thing in one day's webinar. There is so much to tell you. First, I need to introduce you to what is the mind, what is the brain, what is the subconscious mind, then what are his powers, what are his functions. Then I will need to take you through to the practical aspects of how to make the good of your subconscious mind, which is all powerful. So now, like the story I just now narrated, you all know that all your vast creative powers are rested in your own subconscious brain and subconscious mind. So today I will be doing the first part of this webinar. I will be introducing you to the subconscious mind and its functions. Okay, now before we begin, I want to know from you all whether you are all of you are feeling safe as the world is reeling under this devastating pandemic, the COVID-19. Okay, assuming that you're all safe, hale and healthy, let us first salute all the Corona COVID-19 warriors who are fighting out there for on our behalf, trying to administer all the medical care and trying to save lives. And let us pay homage to the departed souls. Okay, now I remember long ago when I was a young boy, our elders used to say that you know, all of us are given. God has given all of us the same powers and the same intelligence, but we don't utilize them. Now, going forward, now when I look back at what our elders said, um, I am begin to understand that it's so true that all of us are vested with the same intelligence by the our creator, but we don't utilize them to the maximum. So there are many who tap their intelligence from the subconscious mind and come out with their creativity, but many don't use the powers of their mind and are left behind. Okay, now science has advanced rapidly. The human being has moved great strides in this world, and especially in the 21st century. Um, so much has been invented, so much has been discovered, and only the man's progress uh, and his advancement. There is no end to this, you know. Um, and but when it comes to the brain is the least explored of all. So they say that the brain is the last frontier, which is yet to be explored in complete detail. Okay, now in this world, even though we have found answers to so many things, we have invented so many things that are useful to us, and we are now ready to form colonies in Mars. But even then, as I told you, there are so many secrets and so many puzzles that need to be answered. Even the scientists don't have answers to many things. Okay, and now it is believed that all these answers are in our own brain. Okay, that's why it's the last frontier that has to be explored to get answers to many of those unexplained mysteries of this world. Okay, I don't know how many of you know the difference between the brain and the mind. Okay, whenever I ask a group of young people, you know, when I'm talking, giving my talks on the powers of subconscious mind, I ask them what is the difference between the brain and the mind. They say they both are same. Okay, but in reality, you will agree with me that the brain and the mind are not the same. Okay, when you look at it from a physiological, geographical point of view, you will say that brain is a hardware, it's an organ, it can be felt, and we all know that it is inside our skull. And I hope you will agree with me. But when it comes to the mind, um, we don't know. We know it exists very much. Uh, we can't live without our mind. We know it exists. We can feel it. We can experience it, but we can't see it. Mind is something like electricity and air. I see electricity exists, but you can't see it. But then you can feel air, but you can't see air because it's so colorless and it can't be spotted. So mind is similarly an entity which exists, but it cannot be seen. Okay, so now, many also say that brain is a hardware and the mind is that software that runs this hardware. The programming, happens in the brain, and this software runs the brain. Okay, now coming to mind, what is mind? It's very difficult to explain what mind is about, and scientists finally are able to say that mind is a bundle of thoughts. Like we all know what mind is. It's like a monkey that keeps jumping from one thought to another. So mind is a bundle of thoughts, and it's also said that mind uh, is a bundle of all those vibration that comes from different areas of your brain. So what constitutes the mind is the set of vibrations that comes from different areas of the brain. Okay, now it's also said that some 35 to 50,000 thoughts pass through our brain in a given day. every moment we are at least flooded with so many thoughts, at least two or three of them, but but most likely that we give attention to one thought at a time. Okay, now mind is so important. Mind occupies a very special place in our life. Okay, what the ability to use our mind differentiates us from the others. So we all differ in our intellectual ways and the intelligence as compared to others. Each one of us have different talents, and we use our brain in a different way. So that makes us different from the others. Okay, now mind is very powerful. So it is the mind that runs the conscious brain activities. Okay. Now, yes. So mind is very powerful. So with the mind is so powerful that it can become our friend or enemy. So as I told you, all our progress, our peace and harmony in life, our advancement, our success, everything depends on the way we use our mind. So mind is so very important in our lives. So in the ancient text of Bhagavad Gita, which says, for one who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But to the one who has failed to do so, his very mind will become the greatest enemy. So as I repeat that you need to make your mind your friend, and you need to know how to use your mind for your own good. Yes. Now, yes, many texts and holy scriptures of different religions have also said that the mind is very important. And going on to describe, and they say that the Bible has said, uh, according to your belief, it is done unto you. It also says, as you thinketh, it is done unto you. And the ancient Hindu texts also say, the Upanishads say that yad bhavam tad bhavati, meaning you are according to your feelings, or and these feelings are because of our thoughts. So we are according to our thoughts. Now, the great saint Gautam Buddha said, all that you are is as a result of what you thought, isn't it? So I will come to that a little later. And most of you must have heard of Swami Vivekananda, the great saint. He said, whatever you think you are, you will be. If you think you yourself as weak, weak you will be. If you think you are strong, strong you will be. So just going by these wise words of these great men, we come to know that mind is very important, and the way we think and way we use our mind decides what we are going to become. Okay. Now, continuing. Okay. Now, let us come to the brain, the structure of the brain briefly. Let's not go into the complex details of about the brain, the structure in the brain parts, in its functions. Just looking it into a simplistic way. Let us see what the brain is all about. The brain is located below the skull in our head portion, and the upper portion is the cerebral cortex, where it also houses the neocortex. And in the cerebral cortex, we have different brain lobes and many other areas which are involved in speech, the Broca area, the the sensory area, the motor area, which are involved in the movements of the body. And there are many other areas, the visual areas. So it has different functions, uh, that the areas and lobes that performs different functions in our life. Okay, now, and below the cerebral cortex is the submerged area of the brain. Like then why did from where did the word subconscious mind come? So to answer this, we can compare it to something that is submerged. The submarine where it's under the water, it is submerged. So similarly, the area of the brain which is submerged is the subconscious brain. So the consciousness is not at the top; the consciousness is submerged. So they say it is subconscious brain. Okay, submerged consciousness. Okay, and now coming back to the cerebral cortex, it has it's involves in various activities like the speech, the hearing. Then it involves in the inter social behavior, the cooperation, the analytic part of the brain function, the thinking, the judgment, the decision making is all that is to do with our conscious mind. Okay. Uh, now, the vibrations coming out of this conscious brain is what we call as the conscious mind. So now coming down to the areas below the cortical, that is the submerged brain, which we simply call as submerged brain or the subconscious brain, and the vibrations coming out of these areas are known as the subconscious mind. Now, the subconscious brain areas have many parts like the brain stem, the cerebellum, the basal ganglia, the medulla oblongata, cingulate gyrus, the thalamus, the hypothalamus, the amygdala, and many areas form the lower areas of the subconscious brain. Okay, now our conscious mind that comes from the upper cortical areas are directly, they have a direct access to the five senses, the visual sense, the hearing, the smell, the taste, and the touch. So the conscious brain, the conscious mind can sense all these signals coming from the different areas connected to the five senses. Okay, now, coming to the subconscious brain, it doesn't have direct access to the outer world. So it has to depend on the conscious mind for all its inputs. Okay, now we say no. Even though the conscious mind has is vested with the functions of thinking, judging, analyzing, decision making, we say that it is very powerful because it is the one that thinks, it is the one that takes decisions, it's the one that is involved in the intellectual activities, the complex calculations, all these nothing. But still, science and scientists have gone on to say that the powers of the subconscious conscious mind is only 10%. The remaining 90% powers is vested with the subconscious mind. And why is it so? This question will definitely come to you. So to answer that, the long-term memory is vested in the lower areas of the brain. That's the subconscious brain, from which where the subconscious mind emerges. Okay, yeah, the subconscious brain has endless storing parts. Okay, you can call it the, if we in computer language you can say that it has maybe has the highest gigabytes, the storage space, even much bigger than the super computer ever developed by the human being. So it can store some enormous information, and for every human being since his birth till up till now, all his memories, his experiences, is the incidents that has taken place in his life, what he learned, what he did, everything is stored in the subconscious brain area, in the long-term memory area. Now, all these are stored like a file. Okay, that's it. Now, there was a person, who, when he said that he compared the conscious mind to the librarian sitting inside the library, and he compared the subconscious mind or subconscious brain to the volumes of books behind him. So the librarian is a custodian of all those thousands of books lined up in the library, and naturally, he is the custodian, and all that information is stored in those millions of files inside the subconscious brain. Uh, now, but with all its parts, with all its powers, we say that the subconscious mind, in somewhat a, is dependent on the conscious mind, and it's a kind of a obedient servant to the mind, which is the master. So even though subconscious is vested with 90% of the powers, it is an obedient servant to the conscious mind, because whatever the the messages, the inputs, the directions, the commands, the conscious mind gives, our thinking mind gives, the subconscious accepts it like a child. And because the subconscious is very innocent, it does not judge. The conscious mind can judge all the actions. You see some person, and you already, a perception has formed in your mind about a person, or some place, or something of uh, the what you learned about it, or what you have been told. There's already a perception, and we human beings are in the habit of judging everything from morning to night. Every encounter, any person we come across, every experience, what is happening in before our eyes, we always keep judging these things. So the conscious mind, the subconscious mind does not judge. So whatever is the inputs it receives, it accepts in literally, and works on it and makes it happen. So what makes it happen? Now, uh, now, when I ask people, how does movements happen? They say, they at least say, sir, it happens through muscle memory. We have played the sport for a number of years, and the moment we go there, when the eye sees the activity and we get into that execution mode, the play starts, and automatically our arms and legs moves. Muscle memory? No, I was surprised. Some maybe years long ago, someone coined the term called muscle memory, and it's been in use even till today. Okay, in general context, the term muscle memory serves right. Okay, does justice. But if you go into the greater depth, the whatever you practiced, whatever you have learned is not stored in the muscles, because muscles don't have nerves, and muscles can't store a thing. So, whatever you have learned, whatever you have practiced, whatever you have experienced is all stored in the lower areas of our brain, which is the subconscious brain. Now, we come to understand how important the subconscious mind and the subconscious brain are, because if you have to perform routine functions at the moment you wake up, and you have your own niche, you have your own domain, and which you have to go and execute, and execute the work every day in your own workplace. Now, for this, uh, for this to happen automatically, it needs to be stored in the brain, and that is, and all these is this as is stored in your subconscious brain files, the storage area of your subconscious brain. So, whatever you have learned, practiced for a number of years has been consolidated in your long-term memory. So what happens when you work hard inside the brain, how you get better and better as you put more effort and put more work is a different subject matter. Maybe I will take that subject up some other day during a different webinar. Okay, now, so all the signals have to come from the subconscious mind, and it comes through our musculoskeletal system, first then through our peripheral nervous system, then on to the musculoskeletal system, then the electrical and chemical reactions happen, making our arms and legs to move. So the body moves with this kind of uh, process, but it doesn't simply move with muscle memory. So now we come to understand how important are the lower areas of the mind or the brain, which is something called as subconscious mind and brain. Okay, now the working of the brain mind combination can be compared to a computer. Okay, now in the computer, you have the monitor, then you have the keyboard, and then you have the CPU. Now, the CPU, we can call it as the subconscious brain and the subconscious mind, because in the CPU is all that hardware, and you have that everything, that all your files and all what everything that you have documented is all stored inside the CPU. What happens in life is that when you press the keys of and give the commands, then the commands go directly to the CPU, and you know that a computation or a computer process happens inside the CPU, and on the screen you get the results. So as I told you, your the keyboard, the keys become your thoughts, what thoughts and what commands or your demands that you have given to the your own computer was processed in your the deeper areas of your subconscious brain, which is nothing but your CPU, and the action can be seen in your life as it is today. Now, when you go into the computation process, what are the commands? It is processed in the CPU, and the result is seen on the your monitor. Now, similarly, what we are in life today is all is seen on our own what you can say the monitor screen. That is the what we are and what we have become, and how happy we are with our own progress, or how unhappy we are, or are we disappointed, are we, it's all because of the thought process that we gave, that we brought about long ago. What we thought has come into reality today. So the workings of the brain and mind is similar to that of the computer that we use in everyday life. Okay, now that's why we say that we need to be very careful about how we use our conscious mind. So many thoughts pass through our conscious mind. Like I said, 50,000 average of 30 to 50,000 thoughts in a day. But we don't take each one of them seriously. But the thoughts and the actions and the all our the work we do based on our thinking ability, it's all is the very important. Now, if we have to be very careful about how we think, how we how we perceive, and how we react, behave. This is all very important. Now, now for the one who has uh, because the what we think and our mindset on a regular basis, a mindset that has formed over over so many years since our birth, based on our upbringing, our social atmosphere, our family life, then the upbringing, the conditioning we have had, our perceptions are different. We look at things differently than the others. Our thinking can be different. So all this has to do with what we are today and the progress we have made. So we have to be careful about how we think. Now, we have many goals in our life. If we want all of them to be manifested going ahead, we have to be careful about the way we think today as of now. From now, our thinking patterns have to change. So if you have to see that our goals are manifested in the future, and we want whether we are going to fulfill all our dreams, uh, whatever we want to achieve at any point of time in our life. Okay, now to the one who has programmed his mind negatively. How does this happen? The constant thought process becomes a habitual way of thinking. Okay, then that the habits are formed and stored in the subconscious mind. And now, next time you are exposed to a certain situation, that is how you are going to react. So, a thinking pattern has become a habit with repeated with repetition, with repeated processing. It has become a way of life for you, and now that is pushed down into your long-term memory of your subconscious brain. So the one who has programmed himself negatively ever since his childhood, for whatever reasons that may be, which is immaterial at this point of time, to the one who has programmed himself negatively, the results he has found may not be that satisfactory. He may be unhappy with his own achievement. Even in the field of sports, one starts with a great deal of zeal and enthusiasm, wanting having taken sport professionally, having set the long-term goals, mid-term goals, and the short-term goals. But at some point of time, after having put in a number of years of struggle in the professional sports, one is left unhappy with his own performance and achievement thus far. So it is because of some kind of a negative programming that is already there in his subconscious mind. Uh, yes. Now, even in sports, if we have to give our best, okay, then we have to let things happen. So I will give you tell you this with a much better explanation. Now, whenever we go to in a club, when parents come and meet us, even during the sessions I have with athletes, the first or second sessions when the parents come to discuss a few things with me, the most common complaint is that my son or daughter is very good in practice, but they are not the same in a match. They don't perform even to 50 or 60% of their ability. What does that mean? So when they are so good with their skills and execution in practice, where are they failing? What is happening to them? Why are they not able to translate what they are into their competition to get the maximum out of their talent and ability, including their hard work? But that is not so. The reason is because they don't allow their subconscious mind to do its job. Okay, now I will give you another example to relate to this. Now, if you drive motorcycles with gears or cars which are not naturally fitted with gears, you remember in the maybe in the early days when you started your driving, how difficult it was to drive. Okay, when you started driving your car, the clutch was the most difficult. I must say the task. The clutch was the most difficult area or the part part which is giving you so much trouble. So when you engage the gear and release the clutch, the vehicle moves. Now you were releasing the clutch too fast, so that then you are not giving you are pumping your accelerator, so the vehicle used to jump and go off. Now you are releasing the clutch, but you are not giving the power with your accelerator. Now the vehicle cannot move. It is trying to move, but you are not releasing the clutch. Now when it came to the steering, you are not in control with your own steering. The vehicle was moving left or right, and when you were turning, it was going wayward. But now today, after a number of years of driving, you are able to drive your car without any conscious thinking. I hope you got my point. Now, you are talking to your friend seated next to you, and somebody suddenly cuts across. Now, in a fraction, you put the brake, then you change your gears. How does it happen? There's a process that happens in the brain where your amygdala is involved. So that's a different subject matter. Let's not bring that up in that end. Now, but the important part is now after a number of years, you are driving your car without conscious thinking. You are letting, you're not thinking how much to release the clutch, how much accelerator to give, nothing. Everything is happening automatically. How is it happening? It is happening through your subconscious mind. Now, if you have to drive for 2 hours using your conscious mind, if you're consciously trying to drive, you will end up losing all the energy. You become very tired. You just let things happen, and you let your subconscious to take over and do the thing for you. That's the way. And even while operating a typing or operating a computer, doing various games, okay, you can't do them consciously. You have to allow things to happen. Normally, all this, whatever we have learned is stored in the deeper areas of the brain, which is the subconscious brain. And when you get into the execution mode, all the signals come from the subconscious brain, and the things happen. But what can come in the way? Like the example I gave of that young athletes who are very good in practice but not very good in the matches. What comes in the way? It is their own thinking. It is their own thought process that comes from their upper conscious mind. So what does it happen? It's because of too much expectation, fear of failure, doubting oneself, becoming nervous, becoming worried how you would perform, then panicking at different stages of the match. All this is conscious interference. When this comes in the way, the subconscious can not perform its duty. Normally, what happens is, why do people choke in sporting situations? It's because they overthink. They bring their conscious mind too much into the process. The subconscious knows a way it has to process, it has to function. It cannot change the way it functions according to your thoughts. It cannot do that. It knows a way in which it can bring out its whatever it has stored, bring out its execution. But when you use your mind too much, think too much, then the subconscious mind is confused. Many a times when choking happens, people are very, very conscious about how they want to perform. So they want to think about how they want to perform. Now, when you start telling the subconscious mind how to perform, the subconscious mind, which already knows how to perform, becomes confused and you choke. So these are some of the intricacies of how the mind can come in the way of your performance and debilitate or sabotage your performance entirely. Maybe going ahead, maybe we can take up this topic. Okay, I've already dealt with it in my webinar on the emotions in sports. Okay, now the reason why people are unhappy with their own performance, people are unhappy in their lives, many are sick where others are healthy, many are poor where others are rich, many are not in harmony with themselves, they are not at peace where many are at peace and happy, is the reason how they have used their mind and brain combination, how they have used their mind, and how they have programmed their subconscious mind. Okay. So, coming back, we have to be very careful about the way we think. Our thinking is very, 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 very important about um, how much success we want to be successful, we want to be, how much peaceful, healthy we need to be, and how much at harmony we need to be with ourselves. Okay, Sujata, a Buddhist monk, has said, the mind is like a sophisticated mirror. Okay, it reflects what it sees. So be careful what you show it. Okay, so the mind, what you show the conscious mind, and what the conscious mind sees, the subconscious accepts like a child, and that is what become happens in your life. So what Sujata meant was that mind is a complex mirror, the sophisticated mirror. It reflects back what you show. So what you send out there comes back. See, if you plant a bean seed, you can't accept an apple tree, can you? So what you put in there comes out. What you put inside the mind comes out. Okay? If your result is, say, 5 out of, in a scale of 5 to 10, if your result is just 4 or 5, then the quality of your thinking has only been 4 or 5. Okay, it's only a small rating. Okay, now important is if you look at a lemon, okay, if you squeeze a lemon, what comes out? Lemon juice, isn't it? Do you get orange juice? No. So what you put in there comes out. The quality of your thoughts, how positive you were, how hopeful you were, how positive you were in your mindset is what you are now, the present. Okay, so it's never too late. We can always make changes to our thinking, to our in our subconscious mind. We need to start programming our subconscious mind in a different manner. Now, that is why we are all here for this webinar on the powers of the subconscious mind, how to use your subconscious mind for the good, then how to change the programming, how to think in a more with a more positive mindset that will lead to a champion mindset that will help you to get the results you always desired. So we are here to discuss about all that. Now we have already spent about 45 to 50 minutes discussing this. As I told you, this is a two-part webinar, and in the next webinar We shall learn how to program the subconscious mind from negative to positive, how to change our behaviors from negative once again to positive. How can we erase that negative imaging that is already formed in our subconscious mind? So we already formed an image there which portrays us. Okay, we need to change that image. We call it as self-esteem, self-image, self-concept, whatever you call it. You need to change that. You need to erase the old one and start forming a new image of yours, the image that you want to see, not the image that you have become. Okay, now, right, now we shall learn as we go along to learn how to harness the powers of the subconscious mind. And till now, I've been speaking about the mind, the subconscious, the subconscious. Maybe you've gone too confused. Maybe it is going over your head. Maybe you're thinking it's too complex. No, it's very simple. Okay, it's very simple. This is nothing to do too much to do with our psychology and our brain and other things. It is a very much a practical approach. I will teach you the practical ways, the strategies, how you can change your subconscious programming. Okay, in a simplistic manner, not making it too complex for you. Okay, right. Now Now, the important thing is the reason why we have not achieved what we wanted to, or we are unhappy with what we are, the progress we have made, and life in general is, as I again to repeat, is the way we programmed ourselves, way we programmed our subconscious mind. Okay, now our conscious mind, as we discussed, it gets about 35 to 450,000 thoughts a day. And this mind, conscious mind, is very, maybe sometimes very materialistic, very greedy. It is very ambitious, desirous of so many great things in life. And yes, but you want to win the next tournament, or you want to become the champion. You want to represent the country, or you have tall dreams, big goals. But sometimes they don't happen. The reason is because your conscious thinking mind wants it bad, wants very big things to happen, but your subconscious mind doesn't accept. The reason is because we have uh, trained or programmed our subconscious mind with a lot of doubt, lot of then a lot of rejection, with a lot of lack of self-acceptance, lack of desirability, then lack of hope. Then how can the things be manifested in your life? Your thinking mind wants one thing, but the subconscious is not supporting it. For things to happen, both minds have to agree. This is where the secret lies. If your conscious mind wants something, the subconscious mind should not oppose it, reject it, or block it. The subconscious mind should cooperate with this. Both things should go together. It's like two faces of the same coin, okay, which are inseparable. Okay, both the conscious mind depends on the subconscious for the long-term memory and all the behavioral inputs, whatever is stored. The conscious subconscious mind depends on the conscious mind for all the senses, the thought process, the judgments, and the directions and the commands it gets. Yes, both are inseparable. We have to learn to use how to make our both minds to agree. Okay, then things have start happening in your life. Then miracles will happen, and your dreams will be fulfilled. Now, I read a very interesting quote coming from one Mr. Laird Hamilton, who was an American surfer. He said, "Make sure your worst enemy doesn't lie between your own two ears. Okay, make sure your worst enemy doesn't lie in your own 2 ears. That's what I told you in the beginning. We can make a friend or foe out of our mind. If you make your mind as a friend, it, the mind in the sense, the both the minds, the conscious and the subconscious, they will work for you. If you make them your enemy, they will work against you. Thank you. With this, we will meet again for the part two of this webinar on the power of the subconscious mind in sports. Okay, with this is Vishwanath signing off, and I request each one of you to send your email IDs to viswanath.author at gmail.com. Okay, visit my website www.winningedgeconsulting.in. My cell number is 97-393-72319. Kindly send your um, email IDs so I can send you the ebook of my writing on the power of the subconscious mind. Okay, now with this is Vishwanath signing off. Okay, with this I end this meeting. We'll meet again for the second part of this webinar. Kindly watch out for the day and time when I will come on air for the second part of this interesting webinar.